Hello everyone, how's it going? Oh, camera was down. Hey! Awkward, I had the wrong, I had the closing screen on, instead of the... Oh, where is this playing? Where is that? Haha, found you. Alright, there we go. So many awkwards. Camera was in the wrong place, wrong opening screen, had the stream open somewhere, double audio. But hopefully we can bounce back from this. Hi everyone, how's it going? Oh my gosh, I hope that you guys have had a good week so far. I apologize for any sniffing, coughing, sneezing, and a little bit of a nasally sound because I'm feeling pretty sick today, but hopefully we can get through this and make this work and I can teach some stuff because that's what I was hoping to do this week. And it sucks that you can get sick on the weekend. I'll probably be totally fine after the weekend, which is gonna hurt. But yeah, how's everybody today? For anybody who doesn't know, I'm Shay. I'm a 3D artist in the UK, or on all my social media it's Unicorn Dev, same on Twitch. I hope that you guys are ready. We're going to be doing a sculpting demo, so basically just going to talk about how to sculpt eyes. We're going to try and do, we're going to basically make like a base mesh, and then we're going to adapt that to male eyes, female eyes, and I'm hoping we can do Asian and stylized as well, because we have 3 hours. We'll see how that goes, but with my brain being a big mucus mess right now, hopefully we can get that done. Hey Cafe, Belfroyo, Dark and Grim, Blaines, Mona, how you doing? Drab, Dari, Board Thing, hello. Ah. Oh. Unicorns don't get sick. I'm a fake. I am a fake. Oh, thanks, Grim. 'Tis the season for sniffling. Ah, thing is, my partner was sick last week, and I think that's where I've got it from. So, yeah, we're gonna be this all day. We could also just work on Milo if my brain dies a bit too much, but I'm hoping that we can do this, so. I'm just gonna curve this like a little bit. No, my smooth stronger brush isn't there. Why? Okay, let me just grab. So I'm just going to start from this block. Then I'm probably going to see if we can make it a bit smaller. Just so the brush is a little bit easier to work with. Hey Capitan, how you doing? I'm gonna be silent lurk corner today, no problem. Oh, Grim, I know. I know. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling the apparent love with this cold right now, but hopefully it's not too gross for you guys to hear me with this nasally voice. Alright, so how we're gonna start is you kind of want to start with creating the actual hole for the eye. It's kind of how I always... You can either do it where you can just use like a clay buildup and kind of carve it in this way, but normally I just do this and then just kind of scale it down a little bit. And that's kind of how I start and just smooth that out. So can you get the flu through Twitch? Probably. I think you can. You're all sick now, basically. And then just add a sphere in the middle. And then we're going to split that. Alright, cool. So this part of the eye is always a lot more sunken in than the rest. So I'm just going to do this real quick. And then I'm going to insert another sphere. Split that again. I'm going to go to this one. So I'm going to DynaMesh this one as well. And we're just going to split it in half. And then ZBrush it. It's not the cleanest split, Passes over a lens sip. Oh man, I wish I could take that stuff, but I can't stand like anything that's like hot flavored drinks other than coffee and hot chocolate. That's pretty much it. Anything that's kind of like tea, I can't have. I think it's horrible. Okay, so let's add some kind of panel loop, but we want it to be a little bit thicker than that. And then let's remesh it again. So now we have a kind of eyelid. I'm just going to duplicate that. Go down to deformation. Then I'm going to mirror it along the Y. Not the Y, sorry, the X. No? Yeah, with the Y. Oops. There we go. Alright, so now we have two different pieces of eyelid. I'm going to scale them both down a little bit. You need to say hi to me. I'm sorry, Angel, I did see you. Hello, how you doing? Did I miss anything important? No, we're just setting up right now. Oh, right. Let's make sure that they're both different polygroups. So we're gonna merge that down. Gonna auto group it. And then we're gonna scale it. And then I have a button that basically does mask by polygroups. And then we're just gonna open these up a bit. Kind of like that. And I'm gonna inflate them just a little bit because I don't like it when they're too thin, so if they're a bit thicker, it's a bit easier to work with. So that ends up kind of being your eyelid. We're gonna scale this down a little bit. And then if we look at our side profile, we just have to kind of match up the angles. So the side of your eye, if we grab this, kind of goes like this. It's quite straight, so it's not like a rounded edge. Did the stream die? No. Okay, sweet. I was so worried. So it's a lot straighter than what I've got, which normally I use the hard polish brush to kind of work into a little bit more, but I'm just kind of flatten the top off. So that's kind of your base, really. You have some eyelids. Just gonna inflate them a little bit more. You have your eyelids, you have kind of like the shape of your eye socket a little bit. And then you have your eyeball. What I'm gonna do is just really quickly thicken this out. So kind of like that. There you go. Okay. So you have some kind of rough eye shape. And below the eye is quite, you have a concave just under the waterline, where then it goes into your nose about here. This will then be concave. So is up here, because you kind of have like your brow comes in at about this point. So this point is all mostly concave. Then you kind of have like the hooded top of your eye that goes over the crease of your eye. So it's about here. Which then kind of transitions down to this place. So the core shadow of your eye is normally right in this crease here. So you want to make sure that with your matte cap that you can see that this is where the shadow mostly is. So what I find really helpful is to have some kind of poly paint on the actual eye itself. Let's go to standard. Move this out of the way. Let's go to drag. I'm just going to grab a circle alpha. So it's always really helpful to have some kind of iris painted in. Without it, it's really hard to kind of judge whether the eye shape is right. Because often what I used to do was I would kind of draw the eye, well, sculpt the eye out so the top eyelid was really high up, so it'd feel like you were kind of like looking at them really shocked. By doing this, it kind of made everything I made look really wrong all the time. So I suggest always kind of drawing on the eye while you're sculpting it, because it's just a landmark. It really helps you. And we'll just go with like a black and white eye for now. Okay, I'm just going to freehand. I'm just going to paint into it a little bit. I'm just going to paint in a little bit of contact shadow, just so it feels like the eye is actually resting. is sitting behind the eyelids. Just as something simple. Ah, do I not have my eye reflection one anymore? Where has that gone? We have that one. Huh. My eye reflection matte cap's gone. We can just use this one, but... I really liked my other one. I wonder where it went. It's just replaced it with chrome there. Let's load it in. Where would it have gone? Oh, it's on my desktop. Okay. There we go. I like that one a lot. Okay, and then we're just going to go to material. I'm going to fill this object, but then go back to our standard. There you go. Alright, so just have some kind of eye paint going on to kind of help out. Might put this back up here. Ah, thank you, Benold. Appreciate it. That corner of the eye sucks. It kills me every time. Okay. Put in eye tear duct kind of shape. Okay, and then we're going to put this concave back in here a little bit because we want to get that hooded look. I need to learn ZBrush, currently using and learning Maya. It's fun. Fluke, there's a 45-day trial that you can access. That's in a link just below the stream. But yeah, I would definitely try it out. I think it's really fun. Okay. So we have some kind of eye shape going on. This is normally just like a terrible base that I kind of just work with. And the corner of the eye is always really deep set. I always end up messing that up quite a lot. I always make it way too straight, but this part is really far in. So now we kind of have our base. I'm just going to put this up. I'm going to duplicate these two. And then I'm going to merge them together and hide these. I should probably save this. Where should we put this? We'll just put this in. We'll put this in head practice, even though it's not that. Just put it somewhere. Done. For a full model or just for something as simple as an eye, is this the fastest place to do this kind of shape? It depends what your workflow kind of is. For me, this is the fastest because I'm able to build. Normally you spend quite a long time if I just do it from, like, let's say this side. Normally you spend quite a long time, like, trying to get the eyelid in. You kind of go like, oh, I'm gonna do it this way, and then put this in, and then kind of bring this out, and then do this, and then... You know, some people do it this way. I used to do it this way, where you kind of like sculpt it all in and use like hard polish and kind of do, you know, dam standard it in, you know. This is kind of how I used to do it, and it took a really long time. And it wasn't very clean. But now that I've started using more of a base mesh method, which is doing it this way, building it out of several pieces, you can get the shapes a lot faster. Okay, so I'm just gonna DynaMesh this together. Then we have like an eye thing. Pretty fast to get this kind of shape in here, this way. Then I just kind of blend. You kind of want to blend this tear duct piece together. You want the crease of the eye to kind of stop quite high up. It depends what kind of shape you're going for. But once I kind of... Ooh, I've got mask my polygroups on. Yeah, it is working. Once I kind of get to this point, I like to kind of blend it out a lot more, especially like for female eyes. And kind of start to blend this out a bit. And then there's kind of like a concave that comes out from, I don't know the technical terms of any of this, but right here between where your eye and your nose is, there's like this really fun kind of fan shape where it kind of like fans out. Female eyes, a love-hate relationship. Hey Cry, how you doing? Hey Nocturnal. Hey Marisk, how are you? So for a beginner 3D artist, ZBrush is a good thing to learn because my main program is Max. I'm just wondering if I should stop and go for ZBrush first. To be honest, I would learn modeling first. ZBrush is a part of your modeling workflow. You don't sacrifice one for the other. They work kind of hand in hand for video games. If you just want to be a ZBrush artist, then that's fine. But I would still think that, me personally, if I was hiring somebody into my studio, if they only knew how to do ZBrush, they didn't know how to do like actual modeling, characters or environments, then I wouldn't find them as valuable as somebody who knows both. So normally people who are like only do ZBrush for a career normally know how to model as well. It's not just one or the other. So what I would do is say, learn how to model, and ZBrush is a part of your high poly workflow. I wouldn't do one or the other. How do you do the Carancula? That's this piece, right? I'm gonna have to get up a diagram. Oh, yeah, okay. So that part I normally do as a separate piece again. So I'll kind of dig this in a little bit. And I'll just insert a sphere and then move that around. So normally that's kind of how I do that. So yeah, that's kind of how I do that. It's just another separate piece. Now I have a diagram open so I know what the names of everything is, because normally I kind of just say like that part, like I'm not very good at the technical terms for stuff, but so this part is called the nasojuggle fold. So I'm just gonna call it nasal fold. And this is the part that's kind of like a fan shape, and I always like putting that in, especially like for female characters, because you can always put a bit of highlight makeup on a female character to kind of highlight that part of the eye that I really like. And while I'm sculpting like any face piece, I like to have actual sculptures open, because what I find is when you're looking at an actual photograph, it feels like these creases are really prominent, which they can be, but they're very tight. And if you ever look at, I think a lot of the skin texture can kind of throw you off and make you think that something is a concave, or something's like folded over, or there's a really sharp crease somewhere where there isn't. Because if you ever look at a facial scan of someone without the textures, they look so different, but the second you put a texture on them, they look like a whole different person. So I like to look at sculptures because they help to simplify a lot of the form with just shadow shape. I'm not looking at texture detail or coloring, where your skin gets slightly redder, like in certain areas, or where it gets more purple. Because this purple here makes me think that this is quite a deep shape, when actually it's not. So yeah, it's kind of like, I like looking at sculptures because they simplify it to the point where I can just see the core information I need to know. Especially like if you're going to be working on stylized stuff. bit of a hood here. Oop. Okay, just gonna... So to get like a hooded eye, which I've done a little bit before, what I like to do is kind of mask off the bottom lid, where the kind of fat from your eyebrow sits over your lid a little bit. I'll kind of mask this off. And then I'll either inflate this over, or then I'll just move it. And it gives that nice crease there, where it actually feels like something is folding over something else, rather than just like the drawn line. Because if I were just to draw this in, it looks a lot different. You can see clearly that I've just drawn it in, whereas this feels a bit more like it's folded over. So I like to use the inflate tool for stuff like that. Oop. And then this part's quite flat as it goes down. Hey Ashen, how you doing? Have you got the Le Crochet app? Very handy. I look at Le Crochets only if I can't remember a muscle. I actually don't look at Le Crochets mainly because it's a lot of information all thrown at you all at once, and I can find it quite difficult to pick out what I need to know. I like to look at more, rather than super refined, this is every little piece. I like to look at something that's a little bit more general. Mainly just because sometimes you find that you get so overwhelmed by all the little pieces that make up the human body to the point where you can almost overwork an area because you're like, oh, well, this muscle feeds into this muscle, so I'm gonna sculpt in like all the little threads, make sure you can see every little bubble of fat, and like if you do super high realistic stuff, it's brilliant, but I still feel like you can forget the general form. Sometimes what I find is that when people do an anatomy course, they get like so into it, everything isn't like anatomically correct, but they lose the silhouette and the character of what they're making, because they're so focused on getting like every little muscle and detail in there. But then you still got to understand, like, you're creating a character, you're creating something that has to have like silhouette, form, shape, language, like you still have to remember all of that stuff. And I think if you're looking at Le Crochets all the time, you end up losing a little bit of that because you're focusing too much on every little muscle and detail under the skin. I don't know, there's just something that, like, I look at them if I'm like, oh my god, how does this muscle feed into this muscle? Normally it's right at the back shoulder. This is, like, this part of the body I always mess up. I have to look at Le Crochets and look at muscle forms and do a lot of, get a lot of reference for that because I always kind of forget and do that wrong. But other than that, I have this 3D Total print. So I have this, but it's quite generalized. It's not like super detailed. So I can understand like kind of where the fat deposits sit and where the general muscles are and what forms I have to keep like in the back of the shoulder. These are like key things that I need to know, but then I don't go into like super high detail on all of it. But I would love to do like a full-on course, but I don't want to lose that part of, I don't know, of kind of like being able to simplify that and put it into a character. Imprint, you've not missed a lot. We've only been live for 40 minutes, so. Maria, how you doing? Your name is Green, so I completely lost you because loads of people's names are green today. I just noticed the ZBrush mug. Ah, yeah, they sent us loads of cool stuff. This is one of my favorite things. What do you model environments in? I do that in Maya. If it's something like a really organic shape, then normally I'll sculpt it and retopo it, but mainly I just model that stuff. I know this isn't your channel, but I gotta ask, how do you get over procrastination? I'm having trouble with it right now. Normally you're procrastinating because you don't want to do it or it's difficult. I find doing something else for a little bit, allowing the procrastination to happen in a way, do something else for a little bit and then come back to it, is normally what I do. Because if I'm procrastinating, it means that either I'm not enjoying it or there's a difficult problem I can't quite solve. That's normally why I'm doing it. So I like to either kind of take a step back and then come back to it. Because you're always going to come back with like a fresher mind than when you started, so I like to come back to it later. But make sure whatever I'm replacing the procrastination with is with, like, if I'm procrastinating, I like to replace it with something else that's productive, that I enjoy. So I'm not just procrastinating, like, to go and, like, watch TV or play a video game or something. Like, if I need to do work, I'm still working, I'm just not working on that one thing, you know? That might just be my excuse, though. But I do like if I'm at work, for example, I'll just work on a different task and then come back to the other one. Hey Harry, how you doing? If you want to do a full, yeah, no, I do want to do Scott Eaton's course at some point, but just don't have the money to do something like that right now. Question, what's the point of polygroups? So polygroups normally you use to kind of like help organize your subtool in a way. So let's say that every time I move this top piece, so I think this hooded part is like a good example. So let's say I want to affect this part, but not the part that's underneath it. That would be very difficult to do without a polygroup. So let's say like, oh, I want to move this part. And I go, oh no, I keep moving like everything that's around it. I could mask it, but then what if I want to do it again? I'd have to keep masking it, right? Every single time I wanted to come back and move this piece, I'd have to keep masking the eyelid underneath it. Or I could just make the eyelid a polygroup, and now I can move this piece without moving the eyelid, because they're two separate polygroups. So I don't have to worry about that anymore. And then if I decide later on that I want to come back to this and I want to move it again, it's a separate polygroup. I don't have to worry about wrecking one or the other, right? Or, let's say normally I do this for arms and legs and fingers and stuff. If I don't want to look at this eyelid anymore, I can just turn it off. I can just get rid of it if it keeps getting in the way. So normally I do it for, let's say we'll have a polygroup for each eyelid. If I want to like close these eyes, put one polygroup there, and then we can put one polygroup there. And I have a slider out on my UI. Which says mask by polygroups. So now I can like close these eyes without affecting each eyelid. I mean, this is obviously like a really lazy way of doing it. But yeah, I can turn stuff off. I can make sure that I don't have this one be affected by this one. You can also use it for hard surface sculpting, where you can polish using a deformation menu. You can polish by polygroup. So if there's a polygroup edge, it will make sure that that edge stays sharp rather than smoothing the whole thing. So they're really helpful. Normally if I have like arms on a character, I'll make them a separate polygroup so I can turn them off and get them out of the way, you know. So it's a really helpful tool. I don't think there's a time when I haven't used it for something. So I think for, 1 minute. This one, these two eyelids are two different polygroups. So they were up against each other, and I just, if we go to mask by polygroups again, I rotated them open because they're two separate pieces. And then I can use like a huge move brush, and I can move this one without affecting the bottom one. So that was probably one of the main reasons to use it. There's a whole bunch of stuff that you can do by polygroup, like in the deformation menu and in the geometry menu. So you can have like panel groups by polygroup. You can separate stuff by polygroup. Like, it's a really helpful kind of like organization tool, I kind of think. Can you learn ZBrush with a mouse, or is it a waste of time and you're better off getting a whack on? Underclocked, you can learn ZBrush and how to sculpt with a mouse. But what I would say is that that's not that you can't do it and there aren't people out there who do that. The reason I would say to use a tablet is mainly for your health. And that's because lots of repeated clicking. So imagine, because I'm doing this with a pen, I'm constantly... Every time my pen makes contact with the tablet, that's a click, right? If I do that with my mouse, it's literally click, 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 click. Let's do... Yeah, so it's like click, 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 click. When you're constantly doing this with your finger, it adds tension and strain to your hand and your wrist. And over time, that causes a lot of health problems. You can get carpal tunneling, you can get RSI, there's a whole bunch of different health issues you can get from doing that. When you do it with a pen, all you're doing is just moving your wrist and your arm, right? You don't have to keep clicking, you don't have to use your fingers, you don't have to put your hand in a really uncomfortable position. It's a very natural way of doing it. You can still have a lot of wrist problems and a lot of back problems from just sitting in general. But if you try not to do lots of twisting motions with your wrist and you draw with your elbow rather than... I don't do this, I should, I need to. Try to draw with your elbow rather than your wrist. You're gonna have a much more comfortable experience. So that's why I would say to use a tablet, not a mouse. There's obviously that you have a lot more control with a tablet, but my main point, people can learn that. Some people are wizards with a mouse. They can do that stuff and not have, you know, they can create artwork with a mouse just as well as people with a pen. But the reason I would say to do it is mainly for your health. I mean, I've started switching over. I mean, I have a vertical mouse. So with mine, my hand is in this position rather than like this. So this is more comfortable for my wrist. I also have like a spongy mouse pad. But I'm starting to get used to modeling with a pen instead of that because I retopo definitely with a pen, not with a mouse. Just because it's better on my wrist than anything else. There's some people who have like 3D mice as well. Those are supposed to be really good for you, but they're quite expensive. So the vertical mouse, I think, is probably one of the best things. I used to have like a gaming mouse that cost me like 70 quid, and then I bought a vertical mouse for 10, and it just kind of changed my life, so. Okay. So this is our basic eye shape. So now what I'm gonna do is start adding some actual form in here. So what I'm gonna do is now duplicate this. And I'm just gonna ZBrush it and then project it on so I can get some subdivision levels on here. Are you gonna be starting any more eyes during the stream? Yeah, so we're gonna take this, we're now gonna start turning it into a male eye, a female eye. We're gonna try and do an Asian one as well because they have hooded eyelids and I think they're really pretty, so we're gonna try that as well. Actually, did I break it? I hope I didn't break it. Oh man, sorry. Couple of issues, but we can fix that, it's fine. So, I'm going to save this, and then I'm going to delete the other stuff. Okay, that's a good topology. Okay, so it's quite a lumpy looking eye. We don't have any form, we just kind of have like a basic shape of, this is an eyelid, this is our tear duct, here's our upper lid, lower lid, kind of like eyebrow fat, right? It's nothing really super special. So what we're going to do now is we're going to try and take these and we're going to analyze what different shapes make a female eye and what shape stereotypically makes like a male eye. So if we kind of look at these two, let's just move this out of the way. So with male eyes, normally they have longer, flatter lines. So you have this kind of long line here. It's much more of a squinted look, and males normally have heavier set, I guess, kind of like fat deposits around their eyes as well. So they'll have more of a hooded lid that will have like deeper shadows here. So the core shadows kind of, they're kind of like shadow shapes. This is like here, this is a shadow shape. The shadow shapes are normally a lot darker. And normally the side of the eye, so this part here of the lower lid, will blend out from about the middle. So this will blend out. A lot of the sharper shapes are kind of like in the corner of the eye. Whereas with a female eye, they normally have higher lids, like upper lids. You'll see a bit of this kind of like heavy shape in the lower lid, but normally what I like to do with women anyway is I'll give them like more of a sharper line in the corner of the eye, so it gives them more of a rounded look. And women normally have a higher peak in their eyelid as well. So this is kind of like what you stereotypically do for female eyes, is you give them more of a kind of diamond shape. And with men, it's kind of more of a boxier shape. So very long, kind of straight lines. So if we said that we were to make this more of a female eye, before I do this actually, let's duplicate it so we can do male and female. So we're going to give it that softer look. So we want the peak to kind of be a lot higher. almost like a diamond shape. So it's gone a little bit lumpy because we've moved it all around, but we can fix that up. I'm gonna make sure back face mask isn't on. Go and inflate this a bit. And then I'm going to try and reduce the kind of hooded look up at the top. So there's a bit of a topology faux pas going on in here, and that's why that's kind of getting a bit tight. And that's why we've got that funny shape in there. So I might have to retopo this again to get rid of that. Ah, thank you, Marisk. Which workflow do you suggest? Working in DynaMesh or clean up the top and mesh with subdivisions? What do you think will be the best usage? The cool thing about it, Bara, is that you can do whatever suits you best. I prefer to use I kind of mix up the workflow, really. I used to say, like, oh man, I hate DynaMesh, and that was because, like, I never used to retopo it afterwards. I used to pretty much just kind of like DynaMesh it and then go, oh no, the topology's terrible, what am I gonna do? I'm stuck with it. But what I normally do is a DynaMesh and then retopo, like ZBrush kind of workflow. So I'll DynaMesh something sometimes, not all the time. And then if I do, I'll ZBrush it and then I'll project it. And that's just what, like, that's what I prefer to do anyway. I'll need to fix that because that's really throwing it off, but... Okay. So I'm just going to go in here and poly paint out some of these shadows because they're kind of throwing me off a little bit. Standard brush. So I'm just going to move the whole thing down a bit. Like I said, I always like to put some kind of poly paint on the eye when working on it. It just makes it a bit easier. Because I always used to make the eye way wider, so once I stuck like an iris on it, it was always really messed up. Okay, so let's go back up to this one. We're just gonna soften up the brow a little bit as well. Pull that back. And this little hood here of fat that sits underneath your eyebrow, I never used to put this in, but I started following a guy on Instagram who makes clay dolls. Super hyper realistic kind of looking Victorian dolls. And I saw in one of his sculpting videos where he was doing the face, it was just like a speed video, I think it was like 20 seconds long or something. I saw that he was sculpting in this little bit of fat here, and then he took a picture of it afterwards. And that somehow just stuck with me for a really long time, that was something that I should be doing, and it was one part of the eye that I was really forgetting about, and that's why they always look kind of flat and not realistic. So that kind of like was my mini epiphany in a way. To make sure to remember to put in there. So I suggest like to a lot of people, like if you do character art or environment art or anything, try to soak up any kind of like creative media you can. Don't just stick to looking at 3D artists' work, because you never know what kind of stuff you might pick up from somebody who doesn't necessarily do the same I guess the same kind of job as you. They don't use ZBrush, they don't do anything for games or movies or for 3D printing, but there's still something very valuable in what they know that you can transfer over into your own work. So I like to follow like lots of different artists on places like Instagram or Twitter, because you can learn a lot from them. And I talk about a lot about the Japanese artists who create like anime figures on Twitter, because it's becoming a bigger thing now to use ZBrush for that kind of thing. They used to do everything by hand, but now that they're learning and bringing ZBrush into their community, there's a lot of stuff that they learn about ZBrush that I never knew was even a thing, and there's a lot of valuable information that they can share, so I would always follow them on Twitter as well. I think they're really valuable. Okay. Just gonna add a bit of a indication of a nose. Doesn't have to be like super good, but how long are you going to stream today? We are going until 4, so about another hour and 45. What material are you using for the eye? It's just called eye reflection material. I can't remember where I got it. I think I got it from here. To be honest. Why not use symmetry and have 2 eyes? That way you get a nose bridge as well. It'll be easier to see mistakes. I bet if you mirror this now, it'll look wrong. I could do that. But I just wanted to do one side. Because obviously, like, this is really close to the nose, you know? The eyes are going to be, like, really close. I'm technically sculpting this, like, it's a flat plane as well. So I've curved it this way, when actually it should be more curved. Like, it should be flatter, you know? Like, there's a lot of stuff that, overall, this wouldn't fit on an actual face. But I'm not talking about... I'm more talking about, like, key form rather than the entire face, I guess. I didn't want to get distracted by putting in, like, you know, like, both sides. So I just like to keep it to one side when I'm doing stuff like this. But yeah, it definitely would be wrong if we symmetried it over, because everything around the eye is me just faking in information that actually wouldn't quite be there. So like this part of the nose wouldn't be like that if we had done like a whole face, but I'm not talking about like this part. I'm trying to just talk about this part alone. There is a tear duct, but it's gotten kind of lost in here. So it is in here. I've just kind of lost it a bit. Andy, how you doing? Could you maybe make a tweet with some of the recordings for people to follow? Sounds like you stumbled on a bunch of interesting artists. Recs of people you follow. Oh, like the accounts? Man, I normally retweet quite a lot of the Japanese artists that I follow. But that sculptor, he hasn't posted in a while. There's a few. I'm trying to think who they are, if I can remember what their names are. There's one where she's just called Tina the Artist. She does like lips and hands. So she does hand sculptures. And then she kind of puts really fancy decoration on them. Trying to remember who she is. Oh, there we go. Tina Yu. So this is one person that I follow. She does these really, really beautiful hand sculptures. This kind of stuff that you can see how she poses them and how she paints them is really nice. She posts up videos of her painting them as well. So you can see her actually like painting and sanding. Oops. It's really annoying. But yeah, they're not necessarily something that I would make like myself, but they're really nice hand poses. So now when I think about hands, this is kind of what I'm using as my inspiration for the Milo project, is I will do them with that kind of delicate look. That's something I really want to try out doing. And the way she paints them is really nice as well. So I kind of look at Tina's work quite a lot. She did a lot of lip ones as well, where she kind of paints lips and eyes. And it's really strange stuff, but somehow I can find out the way that she does it and apply it to what I do as well. So I definitely suggest checking people out like this on places like Instagram. There's others who are called like the Palvov sisters. A lot of it's like doll creators. But this is just me trying to remember who they are. And they create these really spooky high fashion dolls. They're another really good one to look at. I can't remember the name of the male doll sculptor. I don't think I ever kept that in my brain, what his name was. Is it this one? Might be this one. If the page will load. Ah, this one. Okay, so this is the person that I watch. Michael... God, Mike. I'm never going to be able to say that properly, but Zaukov. He is an awesome one to look at. The way that he sculpts them and paints these female characters he does like mini videos where he shows you like where he's I think each video is a different part of the sculpting process, but the way that he sculpts like all the fat around the lip and the way that he does like around the eyes, I pay a lot of attention to those videos, and I try to apply that to my own stuff now, because I just love that you can see him putting on the clay in a very certain place and how he polishes it out and makes sure that those fat deposits on the face are in a cute place, and it gives them kind of more of a like every doll feels different, they have a different personality, but his stuff is awesome, so I would definitely check him out if you want to look at that's where a lot of my epiphanies about sculpting faces came from, was watching his videos, so. They are kind of creepy, but I love them for it. But I think he makes all of their clothing as well, I can't remember. Oop, I still have Masso Polygroup on. Okay, so I'm just gonna add a little bit. That's kind of like the basis of doing more of a feminine look. I'm just going to kind of push the shape a little bit more. Hey Saturn, how you doing? Hey Thunder Bunny. But yeah, because of this crease in the topology, it's kind of messing up this part a little bit. So what I'm gonna do now is move this out the way. Is just give it a little bit of makeup. I just like to do it. It's just like a fun. Yeah, the soft shadow under the eye is all painted on. Okay. So that's kind of like eye number 1. So that's kind of what we had before. I still kind of want to add, there we go, just a bit more of a there you go. There's one. Those are other. So now we're going to try and turn this one into more of a male shape. How long do we have? Like an hour and a half. So what we're going to do to this one is give the kind of corner a sharper look. And then we're going to bring the whole thing kind of down. Nope, I'm just going to grab a... I also have like an eyelash brush somewhere. So we're going to give this eye a much straighter, kind of boxier shape. But the top of your tear duct always kind of sits at the top of your iris, like at the bottom of your iris, sorry. So you kind of need to make sure that that's lined up properly. So that's why you should always paint in the eye, because it's an amazing landmark for the rest of it, if you don't have that, it can be quite difficult to get it right. Oh yeah, I love the way that Wesbart draws faces. He's a very unique way of doing them. I love his stuff.
So, this space.
Okay.
Fascinating. Going on with that. It's expanding. The more you try to think what it is, the more difficult it is. If you keep on asking questions, everything falls apart. And yet, it hasn't got a floor to fall on. If space had a concrete floor on the bottom, it'd be pretty dangerous stuff.
We have to bring this hooded eye a lot further across. Now his eyelid is too far away from his eye, and then this part gets too thin. I see some kind of environment reflection on the eye. How did you do that? It's just a material that I have. I haven't set it up. So we're going to give this eye a bit more fat towards the tear duct. Give it a bit more of a concave by where the nose begins. Oop. I'm gonna blend this out just a little bit so it's not quite as strong. So because I've been smoothing stuff out here, I've lost a little bit of the edge of his lower lid. So smooth that out there as well. Okay, I'm gonna start blending out on this side of the eye. Let's be quite soft. Add in a bit of the brow fat that sits up here. Okay. So I just want to work on the shape a little bit more, give it a bit more of an angular look. And I do that when it's a lot lower res, just so it's a bit easier. Hey Nick, how you doing? Yeah, just kind of something like that. Probably gonna bring this part down a bit more. Are you gonna do a 5-minute speed sculpt at the end of today's stream? Maybe. We'll have to see. We have one more to do, so I'm gonna try and do more of a Asian eye, and then we'll see if I have time after that. But I want to do like a stylized one as well, so see if we have time to do a stylized one. Please, the speed sculpts are so much fun. Okay, we'll try to do one. Ooh. Standard. What was it I wanted to do? I can't remember now. Oh, okay, so let's duplicate this. Ooh, alright, move it again. Alright, so those are the two different ones we've done. I just wanted to add a bit more of a shadow that kind of lined up with this one. Okay, because I know this is really high res, let's see if my keep moving this out of the way. See if my eyelash brush works. I have a MISC folder. Nope. Where have I put it? Nah, that's not the one I like. It's this one I like. Yeah, perfect. Now the scale of it's all wrong. I was hoping we could put eyelashes on it, but... yeah, that'll do. And then we can just move them about the way. Should obviously be a bit more curled than this, but... just some kind of thing on here. They're all a bit messed up, but need some mascara. Ah, yeah. Don't worry, we'll get that stuff in there. It's all just kind of like fun stuff you can just add to it afterwards. Can you convert the eyelashes to separate polygroups? Yes, you can. You just go to auto groups and then you can do them all separately. And you can move each one. But yeah, I just use auto groups for stuff like that. Because this is an insert mesh brush, so you can pretty much do what you want in that way. Yeah, just add something on there. They're not great, but yeah, doesn't seem to be the best at getting them on the bottom. What? Go away. Just kind of want to move them down. That's all I want to do, bruh. Is this even on? Oh, it's in this one. How come I switched? There you go. Man, I'm just pressing all the wrong buttons right now. Yeah, anyway. Not the best eyelashes. They take a while to kind of do right, but... Hey Scrubbette, how you doing? I have to bounce. I have some real life stuff I need to take care of. Bye, Dark and Grim. Thank you so much for coming. Alright, so we have a kind of more feminine shape and then a masculine one. How long do we have? We have about an hour. Okay, then we will... They look really strange without eyebrows. I find that really hard to kind of do without eyebrows as well. So let's give them some kind of... just some kind of brow. And just press C to color pick. The eyebrow is like another landmark that makes it hard to work without. And it's another like another just joy of mine. If you can find like little things that you just enjoy doing, like I think painting hair is one of mine that I just really like doing. Eyebrows and stuff are another one that I really like doing. We'll do like more of a male look. Okay, so the male brow is normally a lot thicker at the front. And then a lot softer. So how I like to do female brows is I'll kind of make them normally a lot darker at the like kind of midpoint and then gradiate at the front and the back. Male ones are special snowflakes. It's quite a difficult one to get right, I think. Start with a lighter shade first. I like doing little studies like these. I think it's normally quite a fun thing to do. I need to do... no, don't give him such a sharp edge. I'm just gonna give this guy, like, eyebrows on point, pretty much. Things are going good, Scribbet. How about you? Are you up to much this weekend? I'm a bit sick, so I apologize again to anybody that might be here about all of the sniffling sounds that might happen throughout the stream. What do you guys think of my male brow? Does it still look a bit too much on point? Gonna try and rough it up a little bit more. I think a lot of guys naturally just have great eyebrows though. Or is it just because we're used to it? We're used to them looking a certain way, so we just say that it's perfect. Make it rough and tough? Alright, I'm gonna try and... Nick will know. Nick has great eyebrows, just to be a creep. I like the eyebrow on the male one. Yes! I'm getting there. I think it's too long. I think it needs to be shorter. Give him a shaved line. Alright, sweet. Me and him can be brow buddies. Alright, one sec. Give him power brows. This is like now a brow painting course. I mean, that's all part of what the eye is, after all. Everything is, this is all part of the eyes. It still counts as an eye demo. If I do this, still totally counts. Just gonna gradiate it a little bit more. So it looks like the hair is kind of thinning. Yeah? Can I just have a job where my job is eyebrow artist, but like for characters in games? People will like call from all over the world and be like, oh my god, we need an eyebrow artist. What are we gonna do? All these eyebrows suck. And I'll be like, bro, I got you. Don't worry about this, I got you. Eyebrows. Eyebrows. And when doing characters, I think one thing to know when doing stuff like eyebrows or makeup is that different areas, obviously different areas of the world have different makeup standards and different makeup styles. My favorite is probably Korean or Japanese, how they do their eyebrows. They go for like this really straight look with a small tail, and I love it. I think this kind of style is really, really nice. But then European and Western, we go for more of like, we're going for a thicker brow now. That seems to be the style everybody's going for. But it used to be to have the eyebrow really thin and with a high arch in the corner. So that's another good one if you're trying to pick like a time zone. I like to keep up on like what makeup fashions are kind of like around. I did the same with Ethel, because she, I gave her kind of like a Korean and Japanese kind of makeup look. But then I ended up mixing some Western stuff in there, but Alright, cool, eyebrows. I'm gonna keep doing this. This is so bad. Distracted by eyebrows. Brow painting course with Shayleen Hulbert. 35 hours of brow painting for only $99.99. Done. Guys, look, I'm gonna do a really extensive course on painting eyebrows. And, you guys are only getting it here. You're getting it for free. You didn't have to. I could probably do, I don't even do this on like my own face, but I could probably do like a makeup one, like a makeup tutorial for female characters. Like, I'd be so down, because I don't even put that much effort into like my own face. Ah, thank you, Marisk. I'm gonna try, after this I'm gonna rest up. I'm gonna sleep a lot tomorrow as well, try and get better. When you get older as a male, the hairdresser asks if she needs to trim down the eyebrows as well. My left one has hairs twice as long as the right. I'll cry. Male hair gets everywhere when you get older, under the foot of the tooth. Under the foot on the tooth? Wait, on your teeth? Andy! I hope that they're not staring too deep into your soul, but... I like them a lot. I think they're looking cool. So let's try to do one more because I'm having a lot of fun. Well, we could do our speed sculpt, but should we do one on eyes, seeing how I'm doing an eye demo? We should probably do another eye together for like an hour. For like the last hour. If anybody wants to join in, we'll do another one. Hey Aspie, what is AB3? What is that? I see that everywhere. Can you do a stylized eye? Of course I can. What kind of style should we go for? Should we go... What kind of style are you thinking, Pan, seeing how you're the one who suggested stylized? Let's do an eye? Okay, cool. Let me get a link to the Discord so you guys can post up on there. Which one is Discord? This one. Is it gonna open? Sometimes I have to close it and then open it again. Discord, yep. So we have a Discord group. If we post anything up, I always post up links so you guys can join Discord and share them in our art challenge section. So we're gonna do another eye for an hour, and if anybody wants to join in and do another one with me. Last time we did blobfishes. That was fun. So yeah, I'll get a link for you guys. ABK. What is ABK? Oh my gosh, I feel like it's just always be blaming Kyle. Okay, where did that come from though? Alright, so here's the link if you guys want to join the Discord. And if you want to post anything, you can post it in the art challenge section if you're going to be joining in with some eye sculpting with me. We could go... If we go stylized, let's go like a cartoony one. Okay. We won't go Disney because they normally don't have eyelids. Paul started it on his Pixelogic. Oh, so is it just a Pixelogic thing? Okay, cool. I was like, really worried that this was like a huge Twitch meme and I had no idea what it was. Let's try an eye from Overwatch character. Okay, cool. Let's do... Who do we want to do? Which character? Let's look it up. We could do this. Black Widow, okay. Okay, she has quite a... simple look. A lot of the paintings of her, you can't really see a lot of the form. Yes, we're doing eye speed sculpts. You have an hour. We're not going to do the 5-minute one. Okay, so she has quite a long look. I hate when you click on one image, you go, yeah, give me this one, and it gives you this instead, and you're like, why? Why would you do that to me? Are we starting now? Yeah, I'm just getting some references. So when you do a stylized eye, the best thing to do, I'm just gonna grab this one of Mercy because I can see her eye a little bit better, even though I'm just gonna use this as reference as to how they structure and how clean they have it. Because you pretty much just see eyelid. Just posted on the Goofs channel. What did you post? Oh, like owl eyes? Holy crap. Those are insane. Okay. So they seem to have really sharp geometric eyelashes as well, so... I'm gonna have to work that in. So when you do something that's stylized, the best thing to do is to work as low poly as you can for as long as you can, and make sure that that low poly mesh is really clean and smooth. That way you end up with something that... Oh, we've got 45 minutes, alright. That way you end up with something that's really clean when you subdivide it. With realistic ones, your low poly can be a little bit more forgiving, but not so much so with stylized ones. So let's just create... let's start from scratch. Let's go over everything that we've done so far. So I'm just going to grab another cube. Oh, I'm doing the wrong thing, that's why. Keep doing that. Okay, so let's just mesh this. Oops, did I DynaMesh this instead? No, okay, cool. Let's DynaMesh it, smooth it a little bit. Just gonna do what I did last time. Kind of just curve it a bit. So might not be able to get this done in time. Yep, and this will be going on the Pixelogic YouTube. So if you follow a Pixelogic, you'll find it there. So you can rewatch it later. Kind of wish that I was recording it so I could post up like a speed video of it, but... Okay, so... Oop, I keep messing that up. Almost missed the eye shine on it. Okay, so I'm gonna go to mask pen. I'm gonna move this in to kind of create the concave. Just really rough stuff. Mercy is Bay. I haven't played Overwatch. I've seen all the videos and I know all of the memes because I follow a lot of people on Twitter who are like huge Overwatch fans. So because of that, I know everything that happens in Overwatch, but I haven't played it. So I'm just kind of creating the space that I'm gonna put the eye. Even though once again it's a bit too close to the nose, so we could actually just... Oop. Just move this over a bit. So now let's insert a sphere for her eye. You can export the VOD and edit it for a speed sculpt, I believe. Yeah, but I would rather do it without like my face on it, I guess. Because if I were to do it, then I would I guess that I would record it without like the chat on it and without like the images and the webcam as well. So then you could literally just have you just had ZBrush on it pretty much. Do. Retop bow. If you drag out the transpose tool to the move one and move the middle circle, you can bend items without having to mask. Yeah, I saw that before, actually. Somebody told me about that. I forgot about that. I forgot all about that. I remember having a freak out last week when someone told me. I should have saved this. You always regret it after you click a button you shouldn't have clicked without saving. Every time. So let's save this real quick because we haven't saved for like an hour. Wow, good job. Hey Vipers, how you doing? Mirror along the Y. Move it down. Where did it go? Oh, it's there. Okay, cool. Okay, so they have quite small eyelids. They're not very different from each other. Like, they don't separate from the form of their face too much. Hey Drysdale, not today, no. I'm feeling a little bit worse than yesterday, to be honest. But hopefully I'm just gonna rest up for the rest of the day. She has quite the squint going on. Right, I'm just going to retopper this to be a lot lower so I can work with this a bit better. ZBrush. She uses just good. Oh yeah, to like aim her sniper. Yeah, I know, but like everything's like, it's sass, right? So if you have like a squinted eye, it makes somebody seem sassy, basically. If you give them that kind of look. Whoa, party! Pressing the wrong button again. A little bit flatter on top. Ah, keep meaning to like, I keep trying to zoom in and out, but screwing that up. Okay, so just divide these a couple times. So her lower lid trying to look at this one, which is her actually aiming her sniper. Great Music was the name of the album. This is Outer Tone Ambient 01. They are a copyright free. They don't create all the music, it's lots of different artists. But they kind of put together these albums of copyright free stuff, so you can like listen to them on Twitch and YouTube and stuff, which is pretty cool. It's one of the few ones on Spotify that I actually like. Excuse me. I just had to sneeze. Destroy my life. Right, once again, I'm gonna draw on some kind of iris just because it makes it a bit easier. Let's move this out of the way for a second. So I'm going to grab the standard brush, set this to drag rect, and then go down to, what color is her eyes? Let's make it like her actual eye color maybe. Kind of like a yellow. Let's fill the whole thing white first. So stylized eyes normally have quite large irises. It's normally because they make the eyes so big. It just helps to feel like they're set inside of the head. Should maybe have done it a darker color first. Pretty sure it's against the rules to have a cold when summer's approaching. I'm pretty sure summer colds are a thing. Let's just set this to freehand. Nah, it's kind of sucky to get a cold when it's nice out. But it's been cloudy the past couple of days, so... So I stole this eye painting technique from a friend of mine called Andra. His name is Rhett Mason, but his like online tag name is Andra. Where he uses the drag rect to paint eyes. Because I never thought of doing that before. It's just one of those things. Because of the matte cap, I can't get like a nice bright yellow. Give her a little bit of shadow at the bottom as well for contact. Oh yeah, you can inset the pupil as well. Normally you grab this part. It just adds to the look, really. You just do something like this. So yeah, you can definitely do this as well. I don't know what time it is. Do I have time to finish this? Maybe. You can probably get most of it done. Like a blue shadow. Okay, so now we have an eye in. It's gonna make this part a lot easier. So now we can actually see the relationships between the eyelid and the eye. Proportion is all about relationships. So you know how long the arm should be because you see it relative to the length of the torso, or normally your hands sit between, I guess, a quarter of the way down from your hip to your knee. Because you have that relationship to look at, you know whether it's wrong or right. And it's the same with the eye. If you miss out stuff like putting in the pupil, or you miss out like eyebrows, or you don't put the nose in, you're missing that key relationship that helps you to understand what the form and proportion of what you're creating is. So it's always good to put those landmarks in, otherwise it can be quite difficult to know what that relationship is. Found the music? Ah, awesome. Gonna have to move this up so I can fit her eyebrow in. So the eyebrow arch is quite high up. It reminds me of Avatar. Oh, do you mean which Avatar? Do you mean the alien one? Blue people Avatar. Okay, the alien one. Alright, sweet. Alright, so... let's get in the concave in here. Which is more subtle on their characters, but they still have it. They still have that kind of long concave. Clearly the avatar from Sims. Aha. Clearly. Alright, so let's merge this down. And then let's DynaMesh this together. I should have saved first. Did it do it? Yeah, it did it. Alright, sweet. I was really worried for a second. I was like, no, let's save it. Alright, cool. So let's give her... Okay, yeah, let's go with something like that. So I'm obviously not done yet, but I'm just gonna paint this in. Oh, why is that happening on the poly paint? Am I mixing two colors? Ah, I've got gradient on, that's why. Haha. I was wondering what was going on there. Okay. I'm going to name my game person. What's the software you're using? This is ZBrush. Not Avatar, The Last Airbender movie. That's the best Avatar. I like the way you tilt your head back and forth. Yeah, head tilt is real. I don't know, it's just something that... I know quite a few people who do this, actually. Who do the head tilt. Yeah, not gonna put mascara on it yet, but... Alright, cool. Let's start sculpting some of this stuff in. So, Overwatch, they have a much softer look overall, so we have to kind of make everything as clean as we can. So, because her style is quite angular, they've made her tear duct really, really straight. But yeah, the trick to Stylized is take the forms, the key forms, so this primary shape of what makes an eye, which is what we talked about before when we did these ones, and simplify them as much as you can, and that's how you do like a stylized one. So because also take into account who the character is, what their story is. So because Widowmaker is more of a edgier character, she has sharper lines in her face. So she's got like a sharp jaw, really long, elongated, long, sharp eyes. All of that reaffirms and kind of illustrates her character and backstory. And that's the kind of stuff you have to think about when you're doing a stylized character. How long do we have? What time is it? We have 10 minutes. Alright, 10 minutes left. Is there anything that anybody has any questions or Did anybody join in sculpting something in the last hour that we had? If they did, I can show it on the stream real quick before we go. Unfortunately, I didn't get to spend a lot of time on this, but... Thunder Bunny sculpting. Alright, sweet. And khaki. No, the speed sculpt's not over. We've got 10 minutes and then I can show it. What color is her skin? Is it blue or purple? Because it looks purple here, but that could be because of the sunshine. And it looks blue here, but that could be because it's in the moonlight. I saw a lot of people drawing her in with purple skin. I think it's purple. Not sure now. It's blue? Oh my gosh. You're hoping I'm trolling? All the fan art I saw of her had purple skin. I'm a pro Overwatch player, I know this. Wow. I stream check, thanks to this one. No problem. Yeah, Vipers, confirm for me. What color is her skin? No, it won't time you out if you post a link, don't worry. What is this? Let's have a look. Ha! It's like a purpley blue. Okay. I was pretty close. I was pretty close. Oh, you're hoping that Cry was trolling because he probably said the Avatar movie is the best movie. I get you. Alright, how long do we have? Let's see if we can get some really fast eyelashes on here. So, I don't do this in a fancy way like Danny does. Danny has a really cool way of getting stylized eyelashes in her. How I do it, on the other hand, I need to come up with a better way of doing this. I need to watch Danny's thing about how he does this. What I do is I just use Move Elastic and I just do this. It's a really rough and ready way of doing this, but So I just take a sphere and then kind of flatten it off a little bit, really. So yeah, I need a much better way of doing this. Okay, we have a couple more minutes. Where is Snake Hook? Oop. Oops. Standard. Make sure smooth is on RGB. Quickly turn that off. Oops. Oops, 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 oops. No, stop. It's fine, it's fine. Treat yourself and get better. Have a nice weekend. Thank you for the wonderful stream. Oh, Marisk, thank you. I hope that you have a good weekend too. Accidentally DynaMeshed it again. Oops. Alright, so we gotta get going. I know that Thunder Bunny is joining in with the sculpt. But this is what we've done today. So we did a base mesh eye, which we then... Oh man, sorry, one sec. Okay. So we did a base mesh eye, which we then have kind of turned into 3 different eyes. And what that does is it just kind of gives you a bit more flexibility to work on. So it's kind of like, you don't want to get the perfect eye straight away. As long as you have a really good base to work from, you're pretty much set for like the whole duration of your sculpt. The whole point is just to have something that's really good, really solid base to work from, and then turn that into whatever you want later. So these are like the ones that we have. Turn on perspective. It's still purple though, troll confirmed. So we've done kind of like a Widowmaker-ish look with the stylized eye, which normally I would clean up a lot more. This has got like quite a lot of lumps in it that I would want to kind of smooth out and make a lot softer. But if I have more time, really. Okay. So these are the ones that we did. I hope that that helped anybody who might be struggling with sculpting eyes. It definitely helped me. Sometimes I struggle with this stuff a lot as well. So I find doing like these little practices are really, really, really helpful. Really. So I suggest, like, even if you don't do like a full face, if you struggle with this stuff, try to isolate it and practice things in isolation. I've done the same with hands before. Hands is still something that I probably need to sculpt more often so that I can get used to that. But if you do things in isolation, it really helps to control your learning. You're focusing it. You're not trying to do the entire body at once and trying to understand and learn that all at one time. You're isolating pieces so you can really take in what you're creating. Yeah, put the image on Discord. So Alpha's posted this. This looks cool. I like this. It's fun when you guys show me that you join in, though. Really great way of sculpting eyes and really anime friendly. Ah, cries breaking my heart. Unlike the wings, I cry. And the ears as well. They're probably a wreck. So, let me know if you guys want to do another one of these. Or if you found it helpful, or if it was, like, fun at all. Because I think doing these short things can be really fun. Doing a full project takes a long time. So we will be going back onto working on Milo next week. I think I'm here next week. Yeah, I'm here next week. So we're gonna work on Milo next week. Our Thunder Bunny, no eyelash. I love it, it's great. It's really good for an hour. Well, it was 45 minutes in the end, actually. So it's pretty good for 45 minutes, I really like it. I think you can make the eyelids a bit thicker, but I think it looks great. But yeah. So that's 3 hours of eyes. It was fun to break the norm. Awesome. So if you guys want to see more of these, I'll totally do another one. We can do one on another piece. I think mouth was the second highest voted to do. Less because I had to go to the bathroom. Well, I think it's pretty good. But yeah, I like doing these because it kind of confirms that I know it. Like, sometimes if you don't do something over and over, you forget that you actually know how to do it. So this confirmed for me that I knew how to do it, and kind of helps to solidify my workflow because I'm doing it more often. So I would love to do more of these. I think mouths and nose are probably going to be next. I think ears were like the lowest. No, nose was the lowest. Ears were the next one after that. So we'll try to do workshops with like these focused pieces every couple of weeks or so. Next week we'll work on Milo. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today, guys. I have to go. I'm actually over time, but because nobody is straight after, it's okay. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. If you want to see more of my stuff, you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch at UnicornDev. I think Instagram and Twitter is UnicornDev Games, or on my art station at Shayleen Hulbert. So if you'd like to do that, you can find my channels. Make sure to follow the Pixelogic channel because we have tomorrow. Oh, Tomar is going to be here. I think he's doing his 2B fan sculpt, which is going to be printed, which is going to be cool. So if you want to see a 3D printing stream, that's going to be tomorrow at 12 PM PDT. And then after that, we have Shane Olsen. So it's going to be an awesome day tomorrow. Make sure to follow Pixelogic. I will see you guys next week. Thank you so much again for hanging out. Okay, bye!